Hi, this is Chris of Magoosh, and I'm here to talk about the August 2018 SAT. Now, I don't necessarily want to talk about it in this context because I thought everything would go well, but apparently something's up with the 2018 August SAT, and what is it? Well, it turns out that some of the questions, in fact, much of the test apparently, was available online already on certain sites. And so these questions were already in the SAT sphere somewhere out there. And so certain students had access to this. And that was troubling. And that's very troubling. In fact, the October 2017 test from last year is apparently identical or almost identical to this test. And so that is clearly an issue. What is going to happen? People are upset. But before I talk about just why people are upset, I want to talk about the June SAT test, because that's something that a lot of people have heard about, whereas the August 2018 is sort of maybe a breaking story when you're watching this. But regardless, the June SAT, what happened there was a different story. There we had a test that was on a different scale than all the other ones. And so if you missed just a few questions, your score dropped much more than it would have in the past. Again, with the August 2018 SAT, very different what's going on. It's essentially someone out there could have said, I'm going to go research old SAT questions on Google. They went down that rabbit hole and suddenly they see all these questions. They think, hey, this is great practice. Next day they wake up in the morning and it's like, oh, I just did these questions last night. I'm going to get them all right. That's a big issue. We don't necessarily know how many people this includes, but understandably, people are upset. People are upset because, well, what if you studied really hard? What if you took 3 or 4 months during the summer off so that you could just nail the SAT? And you did just that. You improved your score 200 points on the practice test, and test day you walked in there, notched another 50 points, and you were 250 points above it. That sounds great, but now wait a second. This is a tainted test from College Board. What are colleges going to think? Are they going to think that my 250 point increase means that I'm one of those who cheated? And so understandably, students are upset because even if you did much better fairly, you might be targeted. Vice versa, it's not fair if a certain subset of students did have access to these questions and you aren't one of them. Why did they get that unfair advantage? And finally, what are colleges going to think? And this is a big one for many people because you took the test, you did fine, you didn't see those questions, you're happy with your score, but are colleges happy with the August 2018 SAT test? You just don't know. Hence, a lot of people are upset. So what now? So we know that it's very difficult to sit there, sign up, and take this SAT test. And just taking a retake for the sake of it isn't necessarily what it's about. But we also understand that many of you out there are unsure about how you might have been affected by this test. And therefore, you might actually want to take a retake. Again, not an easy decision. You know yourself best. You know your schedule best. But if you do fall into the category where it makes sense for a retake, we've decided, given the recent controversy around both the June and the August tests, that if you were affected by this controversy, that we are going to offer you free test prep. And that's for both the SAT as well as the ACT. So when there's a retake question mark here, that doesn't mean retake just the SAT, but know that you have another option and that you can take the SAT, or rather the ACT as well. Again, free on us. For more details, click on the link in the description below. Now, what else? Well, maybe you're not necessarily at that point where you're ready to decide whether or not you need a retake. What about all these complex emotions that might be floating around in your head? Maybe there's other questions you have that we didn't address. If that is the case, then getting advice helps. And what advice am I talking about? Well, we are now offering a hotline where you can call us, or we're also offering an email where you can send us any questions, concerns that you might have over the August 2018 SAT, and we'll be there to help you. Again, click on the link in the description below for more details about this, but know that we're there to help you to answer any questions you might have surrounding this controversy. Finally, it's important to keep your eye on the prize. And what I mean by this, and especially if you are a senior, is right now is time for the college app process. And there's so much you can do here that you can control. such as getting your letters of recommendations, writing a great essay, all of these things. Again, something that you can do is something that you can focus on, and you don't want to let this negative cloud of controversy surrounding the August 2018 SAT necessarily prevent you from doing these things. So again, keep your eyes on the prize. And of course, if you have any questions, reach out to us. We'll be here.